Greetings out there to everyone watching this. Thank you for joining me once again on my channel. Love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice 7. I'm Price Bay. Today is Tuesday, September the 19th of the year 2017. And I know I'm going to get all kind of flack for this video. I know most of you are joining me just because you saw the title of this. And you're curious to what I have to say about apologizing to Europeans as well as the rest of the world. I must say I'm a Moorish American. I am aware of my history, my lineage, and where our people came from in this country. I'm learning more and more every day. But this is something that is going to be very touchy, and most of the people in our society, in our country, on this planet don't know the full extent of the history here on this planet. There are many different belief systems. There are many different religions. There are many different ideologies and forms of thought that exist on this plane. But I myself am a searcher and seeker of true knowledge. So me being a Moorish American and subscribing to the teachings of our prophet Noble Drew Ali, I've learned quite a few things here in the last couple months. I've learned a lot about myself, where I come from, the natives to this land, which were my people, our people. You know, we call ourselves black, Negro, African Americans, colored, Afrocentric, all this garbage, and none of it's legitimate. We don't have a nationality, but that's not the point of this video. I want to make this video because I understand what our people did, right? Especially as I study more and more of the Muslim faith, or Islamism, or Islamic, or Muslim, however you want to put it. We know that Allah is God. This is not belief. This is knowing that there is a creator for this place. And I stand on that. There has to be. Okay? And if you don't believe that, that's fine. I understand. I went through my phases of atheism and, you know, rebellion and all of that as well. And I was able to say I'm wrong. So right now, everything I do, I think from those 5 principles. Starting with love, which leads to truth, which would cause peace. Right? Which in turn, a side effect would be freedom. And then if anyone infringes upon that freedom, you use justice to enforce it, correct? So I think going along those lines, we are in a position right now to change the world. And part of that is going to be accepting a long view of history, okay? We are Moorish Americans here. We didn't come over here on slave ships. There are many fallacies and lies to keep us under control, keep us docile, keep us mind controlled, psychologically. I understand and know through much reading and much research, and I'm not going to put a bunch of links and all these books and all the stuff I've read and try to find the articles and do all that, because 9 times out of 10, y'all aren't going to check the links and do any reading anyway. Everybody wants someone to tell them what's what. So one thing I do know is a fact, okay? We were slaves in this country, in America, right? So-called black people. Black does not exist. We are not black, okay? Those people are fictional. Why? So I began to search and ask and pray, and I went years without quote-unquote praying. I talked to the universe, talked to God. I know that I'm God. I know that God lives within me. So I have begun to go on a accurate knowledge mission. And things are being revealed thoroughly. I mean, fast. So I understand how the European came about, right? What we call Europe is actually West Asia. We all cannot deny that the original people on this planet, genetically, which is scientifically proven, because all of you go by science, right? What's proven? Facts. We were all on this planet as melanated people to begin with. Some of us became separated in northern Asia. Some of us were subject to epigenetics in a cold, frozen environment, which caused us, and I say us because we're one human family here, caused some of us to become albinized or albino, or caused our body to react to the environment so that we were able to survive. Okay? These are facts. So and I talk about we because I see so much disturbance, and like I said, I'm new to the Moorish American movement, community, religion, whatever you want to, call it. I see so much confusion and discord that it's baffling to me. But ultimately, the goal is to uplift humanity, uplift our people, especially in this country. We are last in the race on this planet. So, that being said, we are a proud people that has no problem saying that we were once first. I see it all over the place. You all know it. You know what I'm talking about. Especially, I'm rocking that shirt right there. Oh, we came from this and we came from that. Right? But what does that really mean? Let's break it down logically, because people don't think logically in this society. They think emotionally. So, when you think about when someone says, we ruled the planet, right? I hear it constantly. We conquered everything, right? The Moors. We brought civilization on this planet. We were in Spain from 711 until 1492. All of these facts, right? But no one really talks about the fact that we were horrible people. Yes. We were powerful, intelligent, cutting edge of the technology at that time on the planet. But what did we participate in? There are many records, right? There are many records and books that scholars have written about how we were barbarous, how we were very cold, right? We were cold, heartless people. So you can't proudly say we conquered the whole world and we used to rule the world without also stating the facts that we were the first people to have slaves on this planet. We were the first people to commit acts of war, to lie, to deceive each other, right? And it goes on until today, which leads me back to the main topic of maybe to get further ahead and get these people to get their thumb off of us, we need to make a public apology as a people. Think about it. Because they tell us that when the European, which we begin to call the Scythian, look it up, SCY, Scythian. We named them that after the spittle that comes out your mouth, the color of spittle. Okay? We did that. So, when these people came out the mountains, they teach us, right? When they came out the caves, we began to teach them. Said they were savages. They were committing incest, cannibalism, right? They were uncivilized. So we begin to civilize them, correct? Now, we also must realize that we begin to abuse these people. Like I said, there's many accounts, and you can do your own research. Okay, I did it. You do it. We were all over the planet enslaving people. Okay, specifically after these people came out of the mountains, we were enslaving the European women. We didn't need the men and the children as much because we could work the land ourselves. We were made to be outside. We're created to be in the sun. Okay, we're the original people, but we're all one family. There is only quote-unquote Africans. There is no African Americans, right? There are many countries in Africa. Africa isn't a country. That's not a nationality. Okay, you don't have a flag as an African American. You don't exist. Okay, you're a ghost. So, we began to teach these people what we knew. What was that we knew? Everything, right? That's what they say. Astrology, astronomy, medicine, how to use food, animal husbandry. We know all of these things, right? But were we instilling and living according to the principles that we had as Muslims? Because our God was Allah, right? That's what we recognize. That's the God of our ancestors. That's what we need to get back to, okay? Christ is not our God. Christ is a prophet, okay? I'm not going to get into whether Jesus, there's a principle and the person and this and that, but regardless, anybody from that part of the world at that particular time in history were Muslim, believed in Allah. These are facts. So that being said, that means that there are certain principles that were going along with this religion, right? Just like right now, just like the name of the channel. Love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Okay? For us to enslave people, for us to know that Allah exists and we are a part of it and it dwells within us, for us to enslave people and have slaves and molest people, especially the European woman, what do we think is going to happen to us? And then we also, I see all over the internet, all over YouTube, people acknowledge that, oh, the European is out there, they're teaching their children this. They teach this in the good colleges that we can't get into. They know about our history. They know all these things. And then we call the European is the devil. The white man is the devil. And all this and that. But what were we doing as a people? Did we have some kind of manifest destiny that said it was okay to enslave our brothers? Right? Were we teaching them how to be good, wholesome people? Can we blame them? Okay, I've heard people say that they are like our children as well. Okay, they were younger because they weren't civilized and we had to re-civilize them and teach them things, whether through Moses, the law, or whatever. Natural law, they knew nothing. Why is it that we want to say that the European is naturally bred or it's in their genes, in their DNA, for them to act destructive and do the things that they do, or do the things that they do right now in our society? But supposedly we taught them everything that they know. So logically, there's a disconnect somewhere in there, right? Because they even say the legal system is a hoax, it's bull crap, right? But if you trace it back, Admiralty law and all this and that is supposedly created by the Phoenicians. Who were the Phoenicians? That's another name for Moors. These are facts. So y'all say we say we had all this knowledge. So we set up this civilization that is now being ran by our European brothers. Do you think that they have forgotten these things? Do you think the Spanish people have forgotten us enslaving them and conquering them and mistreating them and their women? Why do we think that us having knowledge of the all-supreme God Allah would allow us to do all of these things, but then also not allow us to suffer the consequences of these things? See, we look at it right now. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a story. My father, he told me this story one time. I'll make it real quick. He was a security guard, right, in prison. He was a jail guard. There was this guy he grew up with, and he used to treat him really bad, did some real traumatic stuff to him when they were growing up. So, lo and behold, the way things work out here, my dad's working as a security guard in a prison, and sure enough, this guy who was abusing him came into one of his cell blocks. Wow. And my dad, he took glee telling me this. He was very pleased with himself. He began to make this man's life a living hell. Messing with his food, messing with his visits, messing with his clothes, just all kind of little things that he could do, right? He made this dude suffer. And this dude, he knew what it was. He was reaping the benefits of what he did to my father growing up. Now, one step further, lo and behold, just so happened that guy's son came to prison as well in another tank on the same unit, right? What are the odds? So my dad made sure he kept his thumb on that guy. Now, this guy had no idea what was going on, didn't know who my dad was or nothing, right? Would send him to the wrong visitation areas. The guy didn't know why his food was all his plates were always, had less food on them. Wouldn't get to go out to wreck, do the smallest infraction, and he'd end up in the hole for a week. All kind of stuff. Now, some people would say that's wrong. I agree, but at the same time, look at how things played out and how my dad felt about the situation. He could have treated anybody in the prison that way, but because he knew for a fact that man had done things to him, and that was the seed of that man, like an acorn, right? An acorn or whatever from an oak tree. It's the same tree in there. Even though it doesn't look the same, it's the same thing. We are our ancestors. Their blood lives within us. That's why bloodlines are so important. That's why family is so important. That's why these Europeans targeted Moors. Why didn't they go around enslaving random tribes and other civilizations that were in existence at that time that they began to enslave us? They came over here. Majority of us were already here. 90 to 95% from my understanding and studies says that we were already here in the Americas, and we are indigenous people to this land. We're the original people here, and they focused on us because of the horrendous things we did to the rest of the planet. So I'll be the first one to say, anyone watching this, any Europeans, and you feel some kind of way and you have family knowledge of what went on, I apologize for what my ancestors did. I apologize to any civilizations on this planet that were torn or destroyed or broken or abused due to the actions of my ancestors, the Moors. See, nobody wants to acknowledge that. They just want to say, we were the most powerful people on the planet. How do you get that power? Right? We do it today in our society. You have men that are glamorized for being pimps and strip clubs, right? So I'm not justifying anything that goes on here, but we're looking at everything right now, just like that guy's son in the cell. He's looking at what's going on to him right then, and of course it feels unfair because he wasn't involved in all the other abuse, right? Excuse me, the abuse that took place to my dad decades earlier, before he even existed. See, we weren't here, but our blood, the same blood as our ancestors, courses through our veins. How many times can you go back in history or look at your family in books or whatnot, or picture albums, and you see that you look exactly like an ancestor, or someone tells you, man, you look just like your great-great-great-grandfather, man, and that person doesn't exist, but they live in you. And these people know how this stuff works. They know that they know what we're capable of. Right? We need to tell them we apologize, and we will check ourselves, and we will never let that happen again with the power that we were blessed with from the Creator to be able to go anywhere on this planet and thrive and survive and do things. We won't ever do that again. We need to tell them that because these people are scared of us. They know the history that they aren't teaching us. Right? While people run around saying Black Lives Matter and this and that, we need to, nobody's living and functioning and thinking and taking action from the angle of love, truth, peace, freedom, and then the justice. Right now, they feel like they're serving justice on us. This isn't an accident. Cause and effect principles. How many of you have read the Kabbalion? How many of you know the Hermetic principles? We're suffering from the actions of our forefathers, people. These are facts. Do your research and think about what I'm telling you. And I know I'm going to get all kind of hate mail and messages saying I'm crazy or whatever. I don't care. I can't instill what I see and feel from the Creator into you or make you accept what I think and feel. All I know is that the more I learn about the history of my ancestors, I am ashamed. I'm ashamed because they knew Allah. They knew what they were doing. So I want everyone to think about these things and be real with yourself. And we need to come to a point. I mean, because how can we tell somebody we're going to check ourselves? We can't even check ourselves in this society right now. We can't even get people to try to do for self right now, right? Or come out the funk of what they're doing right now. So you all be encouraged. Try to anyway. And I come in love and I leave in peace.